This morning. My name's Shelley. I'm the Business Development Manager at Berkeley Alexander. For those of you who aren't as familiar with Berkeley Alexander as some others, just to give you an idea as to who we are and what we do. So we are specialist brokers. I was just talking just a moment ago and just saying that we specialise in all manner of different forms of insurance, from high net worth property owners and commercial. But today we're going to be focusing on our ASU product. Just to give you a little bit of a sort of a brand new sort of update, our group that we are a part of that incorporates the likes of sort of Towergate Health and Protect, Footman James, we're huge, and we're actually having a rebrand. So come the end of the year, we're going to be called Everywhen, hence my background saying Everywhen. So if you start using Berkeley Alexander and all of a sudden everything changes to Everywhen, don't get confused. It is us. There's nothing else that's changing. It is literally just the name and just to unify all the different brands within our group. So as I say, the session today is to take you through ASU and personal accident. And this is that these products are designed to support your clients when essentially life throws them a curveball. And it is a way of enhancing your protection and just making sure that your clients are covered. So the aim of today is just to help you in understanding what our product is and being able to quote it for your client and just improving your protection offering. So what we're going to be doing today, as I mentioned, is that I'm actually going to demonstrate to you how we quote the product on the website. So it will be a live demonstration. Don't get scared, you don't have to memorize it all. The session today is being recorded and I will send out some slides afterwards so you can refer back to it as well. But the idea is come the end that you're going to be confident in knowing what the product is and how to quote it. So just before we sort of really kick off, we always use abbreviations in the insurance world, but ASU. Are you comfortable in actually what ASU stands for and what it is? You can come off mute and shout out. Got some nods coming through, but feel free to shout out what is ASU standing for? Anyone?
Accident, sickness and unemployment.
Wonderful, thank you. So yeah, it's always one of those things in insurance. Everything gets abbreviated. I think some people are confident in knowing what it is and then other people not so. So yeah, it's standing for accident, sickness and unemployment. So if you have an accident and your client's unable to work, illness and prevents them again from earning, or they lose their job through no fault of their own, this is what the product is there to support you with. Now, with our particular product, it's completely flexible. So you can offer accident and sickness on its own, you can offer job loss on its own, or you can encompass a full ASU. So it's all together. And again, we have our personal accident. So again, often abbreviated to PA. So if I say PA throughout this session, we're talking about personal accident. And what that is a protection against serious accident or injury and actually provides a lump sum payout. And the great thing with our policy is that you can quote for your main policy holder, but you can also then include a spouse or partner and up to 4 children all the way to the age of 23, as long as they are in full-time education. The personal accident can be done completely as a standalone, or it can be incorporated alongside either your accident and sickness or along your accident and sickness and unemployment. So completely flexible offering with our products to really mix and match it depending on what your client is looking for. Now, our particular ASU and PA product is called Safeguard Protect, and it comes in 3 different modules. We have our mortgage and rent module, our income protection module, and then our personal accident module. Our mortgage and rent and the income are 12-month benefit with what we call a 30-day excess. So it pays out from day 31 for 12 months from that point. So it doesn't backdate, it's purely a 30-day excess waiting period. Now, what makes our modules stand out is that it's not underwritten by age, occupation, or healthcare. So we're not going to ask if your client's a smoker. We're not going to ask about their BMI. We don't care about that. So hopefully it opens up the doors to a lot of clients in what they may be able to have. There's absolutely no cancellation charges. There's no midterm charges either, and no fees. Okay. What also makes it stand out is it's an online quote and buy. So if you're not registered with us, you can get registered and literally start quoting from today. There's no referrals required. You'll get your instant prices for you. And it's not, as I say, because it's not rated, they are standalone prices. And I'm going to show you in a moment exactly how that looks. Now, the benefit goes up to $2,000 per month or 65% of the gross monthly income. And the important bit for you guys perhaps to know is that you get 25% commission that is paid to you monthly, because it is a monthly premium paid by the client, so therefore we pay you monthly, so no clawbacks for you. And the great thing is it will pay out for you for the absolute lifespan of that policy. So it doesn't stop after 4 years, it will continue for you. So now we're going to go on to our demonstration and actually show you how to quote. So this is where we're going to share my screen, and fingers crossed that this is all going to work. I'm just going to pop my camera off for a moment because I'm then going to be staring at my computer over this side, and otherwise you're just going to get side face. So bear with me. Lovely. Has that worked, guys? Can you see the website? I've got thumbs up, so that's great. So first and foremost, to log in / register, I'm going to press on this top right hand corner. If you're not registered with us, you can get yourself registered. You can do that today and you'll be sent over straight away your login details. No delays in that. But for the purpose of this, we're going to log in to my demo system. Fingers crossed I'm going to have no issues with it today. So it says, welcome to your Berkeley Alexander portal. And for our ASU product, we're going to come over to this button here, income, mortgage, rent and personal accident cover. I'm going to select on that button. And our very first page that comes up is your eligibility. Okay, so this is all that you need to be checking with your clients, see if they're eligible to have this type of product. So first and foremost, they need to be a permanent resident within the UK. That's for all 3 modules, so our ASU and personal accident, that they have to be a permanent resident within the UK. In respect of the accident and sickness and the job loss, they need to be aged between 18 and 64. So our policy ceases at the age of 65 because it is a 12-month benefit. If they are 64, they will turn 65 within that 12-month period. So the policy won't renew come that stage. That being said, if they are in the process of claiming whilst they're 64 but turn 65, that claim will continue, but we just won't be able to renew the policy. In order to have the cover, they need to be working for a minimum of 6 months prior to the policy inception date and need to be working for more than 16 hours per week. And they need to not already be absent from work due to illness or injury. In relation to the accident and sickness, it's important to know this, that as I say, it is not underwritten by health conditions. If the policy holder has within the last 12 months been treated for, seen or arranged to see a healthcare professional about any condition, that condition is not going to be covered until they've gone 24 months without receiving any treatment or arranging to see a healthcare professional. So let's take, for example, your client's got diabetes and they're taking medication for the rest of their lives for it. They can still have the accident and sickness and they can claim for anything that's completely unrelated to that diagnosis, but won't be able to claim for anything that is related to it. If perhaps they have something else and after 24 months, they're no longer taking any form of medication, treatment, and they're not seeing or having to arrange to see follow-ups or checkups with a healthcare professional, they would then be able to claim for it. Okay. In relation to job loss, this one's probably, hopefully, a given that they're not already aware of any sort of redundancies or restructure or reorganisation that's happening within their business or any circumstance that means they need to give up work to become a carer. So I will point out that there is a 120-day exclusion period for that new business. So if they do become redundant within that first 121 days, they wouldn't be able to claim. Okay, that is just in relation to new business and doesn't sort of come into effect at renewal. Also, if they have this type of cover elsewhere and you're simply just moving it over from that policy over to ours with no gap, then it wouldn't incur that 120-day period. In relation to our module or rent module, your client must be named on the mortgage or rental contract and they need to be living within the property. And that is our eligibility. So that's all you need to be checking to see if your client can have the cover. Moved on next, and this then is your information page. This is all you need to fill out in order to actually see the pricing schedule. So we're going to pop in a client's date of birth. Employment status. Let's say, for example, I'm going to select that the client is retired. The system is going to pull up for you that they can have personal accident cover, but they can't have the ASU because they aren't working for that 16 hours per week. So the system is prompting you. Also, let's say, for example, if I select on a client being self-employed, you can see we've got a whole other big box that appears. So with your self-employed clients, absolutely, they can have accident and sickness, and absolutely they can have personal accident, but it's not set up for them to have the job loss, because essentially what this box is saying is that they would need to give up that self-employed status. So it's not really suited for them. But AS and PA, absolutely. And for the purpose of today's session, we're just going to select employed, and I'm just going to select the first one that comes up. You probably won't have that many abattoir workers, but you never know. Right, now we're going to go to gross monthly income. If I select on the little question mark, you can see we just give a little bit more supporting information. So this is why the policyholder's gross monthly taxable income from their job before tax and national insurance deductions, and exclude any income from investments, pensions, property ownership, etc. And then in relation to our mortgage and rent amount, that is the contracted amount. So say, for example, it's £1,000, but your client decides to add on another 200 each month. That's not what you're putting in, it's £1,000. So it is the contracted amount. Likewise, if you've got policyholder A and policyholder B, and say it's £1,000, and they're both putting in £500 each, they can both have the cover for a £4,000. So you're not putting in the percentage, it is the actual contracted amount that you're putting in there. I have put in sort of slightly high amounts for the moment because I want to show you how it looks when we have the full amount available to you, and we'll go back and adjust that in a moment as well, so you can see how it then looks. This section over here is purely just in relation to the personal accident side. So it is saying, do you want to include a spouse or partner? If so, we're just popping in their date of birth. Again, not underwritten by the age, but we're just putting that in just for a bit of data capture for us. And then we can add in up to 4 children. And as I say, up to the age of 23, as long as they remain in full-time education. So if you've got more than 4 children, you might have to do one quote for policyholder A, including the 4, and then another one for the remainder of the children, or pick your favourite children. And that's all you need to get to the next stage. So it really is just date of birth, occupation, income, and mortgage amount. So not a lot of information that you need to actually get to our quoting part. So now you can see the 3 modules that I was speaking about earlier: our mortgage and rent, our income, and our personal accident. So just a reminder that you can have accident and sickness on its own, you can have job loss on its own, or you can have it all together. Now we've purposely put the mortgage and rent up at the top because it is less expensive than the income. Okay, so where your client does have mortgage or rent, you would always quote this first and foremost. You can top up with income should that be sort of relevant or available, but you wouldn't go income over mortgage and rent where your client does have that opportunity. Okay, so let's look at pricing, and you can see over here we've got our estimated monthly premium table, so it's going to tell us instantly how much this will cost. So you can see here we've got blocks of 500, so 500, 1,000, 1.5 to 2 being your maximum. So we're looking at AS. So for just 500 of cover, it is only £8.46 a month. So it is a really good entry point amount. 1,000 of cover, £16.88 per month. 1.5 is £26.64, and our top end at 2,000 is £38.20. I'll just show you then the difference in terms of the income, and you can see it is that little bit higher. So our 500 is 14.80, 1,000 28.71, 1.5 at 45.32, and our 2,000 at 64.95. Again, don't worry about, you don't have to jot all these numbers down. It is going to be available to you, and these slides and the webinar sort of recording is going to come over to you as well. So don't panic about trying to remember all these prices. In terms of job loss, we go back to our mortgage and rent. So our first block at 500, £13.82. So again, a really good entry point. £1,000, £26.68. 43.70 and 62.64. And then we'll show you over on the income side, 15.72, 31.43, 49.62, and 71.13. So we're looking together, say for example, we're looking at £1,000. So if I go for 1,000 of accident and sickness, you can now see that I have 1,000 available under the job loss, taking us to our maximum of the 2,000. So you can see that the others were greyed out. So you can't, for example, select 1,000 of accident and sickness and 2,000 of job loss. It needs to come to your 2,000 together. You can either go for your full maximum, or you can go lower. So just because 2,000 is available doesn't mean they have to have 2,000. Completely optional as to what they have. So if we went for 1,000 under our mortgage and rent, if we were to do it under our income, you can see 104.68. If we come off the income and go for the maximum under our mortgage and rent, 184. Okay, so it is less to do your maximum on your mortgage and rent as opposed to mix and matching it. Now, what our mortgage module does as well is it gives the mortgage amount plus 50%, but providing it goes in these blocks of 500. So if your mortgage and rent is £1,000, you'll have an option for 500, 1,000, and 1.5, but not 2. Or say, for example, if your mortgage amount was 750, you'd get a block of 500 and 1,000, but you wouldn't get the next block because your 750 plus 50% doesn't get you to that block. If I go back a stage now and I just lower these amounts down, you can now see that these amounts are greyed out. So providing that you're putting in the accurate amount in your previous page for your gross monthly income and mortgage amount, the system will adjust for you what your client is entitled to. It simply won't let you select on these higher amounts if it's not available for your client. So you can't go wrong in it. Okay. And again, for whatever we select, we have our table over here. You can see we'll separate it between the modules that you're selecting because it is 3 individual modules but 1 quote process. So it makes it all nice and simple, all in one place for you. Now we're going to move on to our personal accident cover, and this ranges from level A to level E. Our level A starting premium is £8.40, £16.80, £25.20, £33.60, and our highest level at 42. If you are including the partner, be the exact same pricing for your policy holder. Our child's policy literally goes from £1, £2, £3, £4, £5. You can see here, for whatever level you cover you select for your main policy holder is the same level of cover to select for the partner and then the child, or you can no cover, for example. You can have the partner and not the child, or vice versa, or you can decide not the partner, not the child, and just the main policy holder. If you did want different levels of cover, you would have to do 2 different quotes, but otherwise it will be the same level of cover. So what do these levels actually give you? So over here, we've got our benefit level table. Going to select on that, and this now breaks it down for you. So bearing in mind again that this is in relation to personal accident, so it's no element here of sickness, it's only in relation to accident, but you have your benefit type and then your levels. So in terms of accidental death or funeral expenses, you can see as per the level how much cover that you would receive. Remember, this is a lump sum payout, not monthly. You've got your permanent incapacity, so quadriplegia, for example, loss of sight, one eye, both eye, loss of hands or feet, loss of speech, 3rd-degree burns, loss of use of hip, wrist, knee, ankle, shoulder, elbow, for example, and it breaks it all down for you. You do have additional benefits as well. So that's our hospitalisation. So for every 24 hours spent as an inpatient for a maximum of 30 days, you'll receive these payouts. And you'll also get from minor and major fracture. The policy wording does define the difference between the two, but essentially covers most areas, but it does not cover for nasal injuries. Your child benefit is the exact same in terms of the benefit type and your hospitalisation, but your payouts are less because obviously you're only paying anything from £1 to £5. You can print this page and share that with a client as well, so they can have a look through and let you know. So just as a reminder that you can do any modules you like. You don't have to have one without the other. You can do the personal accident all on its own, or the personal accident can then be sort of boosted upon an accident and sickness. And in the event of an accident, serious injury, you can get your lump sum payout under your personal accident and then your monthly benefit under your accident and sickness if you're not able to work. Go to our Quote Now button. And you will see your monthly amount and your 3 modules if you selected all 3. You've got your demands and needs down here, so you can print screen or print this page to share that with a client. When you are on this page, always recommend that you save your quote and then you can go back in without having to repeat anything that you've already filled in. Your Documents tab is here and it will show for you your IPID and policy wording for each of the modules. If you have those selected, say for example your mortgage and rent module and not the other 2, it's just going to show you the relevant for what you have selected. Okay, in this example we've got all of it because I've selected all of them. So do send this out to your client before you apply for the cover. Really important from a compliance aspect that you do send them those policy documentation so they can have a read through and make sure that they're happy to proceed and take out the cover. For the purpose of this demonstration, we're going to go straight to the apply button so you can see what happens next. So that's your quoting stage. They are blocks of that 500 to 2000. The system won't let you quote what you can't have and you can mix and match it. Okay. We're going to press on the apply button. And you can see how it looks to get it on cover. So you can't backdate cover, you can put it ahead of time, but it needs to be within 30 days. Hasn't it? We're in October already. Right, it's going to pull through the information that you've already submitted. You can change it, but of course it would change the premium, so unlikely that you're going to at this stage. So the eligibility that we saw on the very first page before we started doing the quote now becomes sort of a statement piece that you need to confirm the information is correct. Now it will only pull through the eligibility questions based on the modules that you have selected. So it's not going to ask you the questions. They're not relevant if you haven't selected all the modules. But hopefully by this point you would have already checked it, so it should all be okay. So in relation just to the health conditions, I'll just show you. So if we are saying yes, that the client does have health conditions, it's not asking for any form of medical paperwork. You don't have to put in what that condition is. It's just a reminder and that prompt for you to let your client know that that condition won't be covered until they've gone that 24 months without receiving the treatment or arranging or seeing a healthcare professional. Once you've checked that's right, then you are filling in the details for the policyholder's name. If you've added in for a partner or a spouse, you're going to add in their details as well. Their employment status, just a data capture for us here. We'll go for another abattoir worker or a family of abattoir workers. And if we have selected the child cover, we're going to add that in there as well. So if you have named selected cover for 4 children, you do have to name each of them. And we're looking up a postcode as well. Just checking that premium. In relation to policy documents, just to let you know that once you have applied for the cover, we are going to email you the policy documents, and that box there is just confirming 100% that you're going to be sending that on to your client. We're not doing that for you. That's what you need to do. Okay. This section here is in relation to the direct debit. Essentially, you are meant to read all of that to your client, but I'll just give you it in a nutshell that the premium is collected by the Wessex Group and it will show on your client's bank statement as WIMS Limited. But do in your own time, read through that page as well. So in terms of the actual payment details, it cannot be paid by a company account. It needs to be a personal, can be a joint account, but you can't have someone else paying for the policy. And you're just going to confirm that that information is correct. In terms of payment, you can select for your client the date that the policy goes out, anything from the 1st to the 28th of a month. Just be conscious of the date you're putting it on. So say, for example, it's the 9th today, and I'm going to put it on for the 10th. The chances of the Wessex group being able to set this all up and take payment for tomorrow is unlikely. So in most circumstances where it's close in time like this, they would collect that first month in month 2, and then it will be consistent thereafter. So just be conscious of that for your client and let them know. Pop in their details. It is optional in terms of the telephone number and email address. This is purely for Wessex. It's got absolutely nothing to do with Berkeley Alexander. We're not marketing to your client or contacting your client. It's just if there is any sort of scenario where Wessex need to speak to your client in relation to the direct debit, that they have contact details. They'll also send the welcome pack by email. They've got an email address. Otherwise, it will get posted, but it is optional. This then is your last chance to check that absolutely everything here is correct. You would say it's correct, press the apply now button, and as I say, documentation will then be emailed out to you. And that is how you quote it. So quoting, applying, hopefully really nice and simple. If you do need support in help, if we go to products up at the top here and select income protection, you've got about our product is here. Our product features is here, and we also have a useful guide. We have a product guide and a short video explaining the product guide if you're more of a visual as opposed to reading, and we have a how to use guide as well. So obviously, in addition to this webinar being shared to you and my slides, you do have those documents always on the website to help you as well. So something to think about and think, who is it that I'm actually quoting this type of cover for? So realistically, every client that has mortgage or rent, and to be clear, it doesn't need to be a new mortgage. So this can be a client that you're setting up a mortgage for, or it can be a client that's had their mortgage for sort of 5 years, 30 years. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be new. For self-employed clients, let's really think about the personal accident and the AS side. Could you imagine if you're sort of builder and you get injured, what you're going to do if you can't work and get that income if you're injured? So really important to think about those type of clients. Clients without employee sick pay, that's an important one. Sort of young families, because I say you can include for your children as well. And perhaps clients that have been declined for typical, sort of your traditional sort of income protection or critical illness. So that's important to think about as well. Now, if we think about sort of how this can actually strengthen sort of your protection offering or just your sort of service offering in general. So this can actually help clients, as I say, that have been sort of denied your income protection or critical illness, where that's not possible. This is another option, and it's a great sort of entry point as well, because the starting premiums are relatively low. It is a good sort of addition, and it actually complements your other forms of protection as well, because it is that sort of more entry level point. It's fast quotes, so your quotes are instant. You don't need to refer to us, and there's nothing that's going to make those sort of premiums change. So it is nice and quick, and you don't need a lot of information. Hopefully it's information that you already know to go in and do. You get your monthly commission, and as I say, it's for a lifespan of the policy, so it doesn't stop after the 4 years. We actually have policies that prior to that kind of stop when COVID happened, we're still paying out monthly premiums to agents that put this type of cover from sort of 20 odd years ago, and we are still paying out on it. Actually gives you an annual touch point with your clients as well. So the policy will automatically renew unless your client tells us otherwise, but the documentation gets sent to you to pass on to your client. So it's a nice touch point and check in with your client each year. And let's face it, it might sort of be the difference from you to another broker, because you're offering sort of more than perhaps what others may be. A lot of people are scared about sort of job loss. It's a really big thing at the moment and can be a scary time for clients. This is that little bit of reassurance and that additional protection, and perhaps doing something that someone else isn't thinking about doing for them and might not be something that your clients are aware is available to them, particularly if they are looking for just that one of the elements on its own, say the job loss, for example. And there aren't too many providers out there that are doing it on its own. Some additional sort of tips for you in how you sort of introduce it to your client is really ask the question, can they afford not to have this cover? What would happen if they lost their job? What would happen if they got ill, got sick and couldn't work? Could they pay their mortgage? Could they pay, the additional sort of bills and so on, and just life in general? So that's a really important thing as an entry point is, what would you do if? Can you afford not to have this? And there's nothing to stop you from sort of doing some comparisons. The cost of some of these lower levels is probably less than your Netflix. The cost of a couple of coffees that you would buy at Costa each month. You're going to get a lot more out of this cover than you would do that. So there's nothing that stops you from making those comparisons. And what I would say as well, share your visuals. Share that sort of benefit level guide for your personal accident so they can actually have a look through. You can even share the product guide with them, share the policy wording, share the documents. They can have a read through and really understand more about the cover and what is it. So use that to your advantage. It's all there on the website for you. Your guides are here and you can download the policy wording documents as well. So just a little bit of a recap. So hopefully there's a lot of information to take in. I appreciate that, but hopefully it's given you a good understanding as to what actually is accident and sickness and personal accident and the type of clients that may need it and how to actually quote it, that it is nice and simple, shouldn't take up too much time, doesn't require a lot of information, and have a go at providing a quote to every client that you speak to. I would say shout about it to your clients, maybe even add it onto your signature. Ask me about ASU, or accident, sickness and unemployment. Not everyone knows those abbreviations. Add it to your signature and just see what happens. See if clients actually come to you asking for it. So I'll pop my camera back on now. I'll stop sharing. There we are, back in the game. What I will say is I'm more than happy, as well as your business development manager, to arrange any one-to-one sessions with you. So I can go through that demonstration with you as many times as you like until you feel really confident with it. Or if you just want to find out more about our other products, as I say, we specialise in non-standard insurance, high net worth, property owners and commercial. And there's a whole world that we can talk about in commercial. I could go on for a lot longer than an hour when it comes to that. So if you do want a session with me to find out more about how we can boost your business in terms of ASU or anything else, then I'm always available. So I will open up the floor to any questions that anyone may have.
Just dead quickly, when we were putting in the amount of earned income, would you be able to include as somebody who owns a limited company and takes dividends? Is it literally just their salary?
It's just the salary.
Okay.
How much do the premiums tend to go up each year?
So we wouldn't expect to see them keep going up. It's not like your home insurance where you expect it to increase. So if I look back to our sort of policy that we had prior to COVID that is still running, the last time that had a price increase was in 2021, and I can't remember when it did prior to that either. If there is going to be a price change, it's not going to be dependent on a particular client. What it would be is overall. So actually it would change for the new business and renewal across the whole entire book. That being said, it is quite a new product, this particular product. It's a year old with us. And we are in conversations actually with the underwriter to see what can we do now we've had our first sort of year with this particular product to improve it. So things potentially maybe coming into play, so perhaps age rating, but that would potentially only assist some of your clients as well. So that's something that we're looking into, and we're always going to be looking for feedback. Once you start quoting, please give us feedback, and we can always look to see where we can look to improve things. But in terms of sort of increases in premium, it's not something that you would see each year. We're certainly not expecting that.
Yeah. Okay. I I have a problem with your website and getting registered. Every time I go on there, I go to it and it takes me to terms of business and agency agreement, and it says, "Are you the firm's FCA controller principal?" And then
So
I have to keep answering no to those questions, and I can't get past that point.
That's what. So if you like, you can just put in my hands details in there that the terms of business agreements is already set up with Julian Harris. So that's already been done in the background. So we can look to get you registered.
So it doesn't matter what details I put in that.
No. So that goes for anyone looking to register. And say that terms of business agreements already set up in place. So sorry, my hand. I'll name you there. You can pop your details. It's not going to make a difference. We're not going to be contacting them. As soon as that comes through to me, I will give you your login details. If you want to pop me through an email afterwards, I'll help you with that. We can sort of do it over the phone together.
What's your email address? Sorted.
So my email address is S for Shelley, and then it's my surname without any dots in between. So it's S Harmer, HARMER at baonline.co.uk. So my contact details as well for anyone else will be on the slides that I send out and will be issued out to you as well. But that's my email address. So sharmer at baonline.co.uk.
Right, okay.
But we'll get you sorted, I promise.
I've been on the website 2 or 3 times to think about doing certain things. And then I can't get past that point and I just go elsewhere. So
okay, well, as of today, we're going to get you sorted. And likewise for anyone else, we'll get you sorted. If you have any problems with it, do let me know. It's nice and easy to get done. And then honestly, then once you log in, it's always going to be your email address that you register with and a password that I will set for you, but you can rechange that once you get in, and that's all you need. So initial faff, I do apologise for that, and then really nice and easy afterwards. Has anyone got any other questions for me? ASU or anything else related, I don't mind.
Does anybody know from a compliance perspective how many quotes we need to get as comparisons for ASU?
Mohan, I'll let you answer, or someone else answer that one.
Yeah, I can go with that. It would be a minimum of 3 quotes from different providers, but we do also accept declined quotations. So if you contact someone and they decline a quote for the client, then you can use that too.
So we've got Berkeley, Alexander, we've got 3XD, I think, do ASU as well, don't they? Do you know who the third one would be?
I will have a quick look for you. 1 second. If not, I'll send it round in an email.
It's just getting all those 3 quotes together, really.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm not sure if a Payment Shield perhaps back in the ASU market, possibly have a look at Payment Shield, but if not, I'll check through and see what I can find. But like I say, if you contact someone and they decline to provide a quote, then that can be included.
Okay.
I do believe, don't hold me to, I do believe Payment Shield are very recently back in ASU, but in terms of their mortgage, it's a new mortgage.
Okay. Thank you.
I don't know much more about them other than that, I'm afraid.
There were quite a few, but obviously they stopped in 2020.
Yeah,
so trying to keep track of the ones that have returned.
It's almost as though people are just starting to think about getting back into doing that sort of business again. It's like it kind of died, went away, and then it seems to be starting to come back.
Yeah, so it's one of those. So we've been sort of dealing with our old policy book for years, and I say that didn't stop. It was just the new business that then was a struggle. So it's really great that it is back in the market, and this is what we're saying, to have those conversations with clients because they may not be aware of it. So this is a really good point now, especially we're close to the end of the year, going into the new year. Just speak about it with every client, make them aware, and just send them a quote and see what comes off the back of it. And I say, put it on your signature, make it obvious that it's available to them again.
If somebody makes a claim on the policy and it's a 12-month payout, are they going to get paid for the whole 12 months?
Yes, it's a 12-month benefit.
So even if they go back to work, and
so it depends if they go back to work on sort of when. So if they return to work for less than 3 months in a row, it would be treated as the original claim, so it wouldn't have the excess period. But if it is sort of 3 months or more, then it'd be treated as a new claim with a new excess period and 12 months from there.
Right, okay. And if they have made a claim and it comes around to doing the policy, they will be accepted for a new policy to start again.
Yeah. So the policy will literally automatically renew unless your client tells us otherwise, or they hit that 64 age.
Right, okay. All right. It can just be left in place then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. And as I say, nice touch points sort of with you and client each year. Good check-in, so it helps support other areas of your services that you do as well. And as I say, there's no charges for cancellation or midterms. So if your client comes to us or comes to you sort of midway through that 12 months, wants to make a change, there's absolutely no charge for doing so. Obviously, if they're increasing cover or lowering it, the premium may change accordingly, but there's no actual fee charged for making any changes throughout the year. Has anybody else got any questions? How comfortable are you sort of in thinking about quoting it? So if it's something that you haven't done before, after this session you're now thinking, oh, okay, yeah, I think I can do this. Is it giving you sort of a bit of confidence to understand it and quote it?
Yeah, the quote system seems really simple.
Yeah. And as I say, you can't go wrong. It won't let you select something that you can't have, which is the good thing. We all need that in life, don't we? Someone goes, no, don't do it. Anybody else? Silence. And so if you do, as I say, have any quotes, any questions, please feel very free to contact me afterwards. We can book in a team session, do a one-on-one, or just a call if you're not comfortable in Teams. Hopefully you are if you're on this. But yeah, anyone at all that's sort of reviewing this recording afterwards as well, I'm more than happy to jump on and help, as I say, in relation to ASU or anything else we can help you with.
Thanks, Shirley. Thank you very much. Really appreciate your webinar, and we'll certainly distribute that out to all the other advisors.
Thank you. And yeah, as I say, everything that I've spoken about, there will be sort of slides, so you didn't need to remember everything I've said. It will come across to you, so you can sort of recap on anything that I've spoken about today.
Fantastic. Great. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, everyone.
See you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Speak soon.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Everyone.